what I wish someone like Pat Flynn would say, because it would be a lot more powerful coming from him than it is coming from me, is that the difference between a small creator who might know a lot and do good work and someone who has 500,000 YouTube subscribers, someone who can charge $500 for a class, someone who can have passive income that a whole other team manages so that it is actually passive for them. That's not something that most people can ever reach realistically. And if you have reached that, if you could just acknowledge that some of it was luck and timing, because otherwise, if it isn't, you would be able to pick up someone off the street, have them do the exact things that you say, and they should have the level of success that you have. But you can't guarantee that, right? Because there's a lot of other factors with success besides knowing what you're talking about. Hello, and welcome to Nicole Reacts, a show in which I, Nicole, react to online marketing gurus that I find on the internet. My qualifications for snark and commentary are that I've owned a marketing company for the last 15 years. In that time, I've worked with hundreds of clients on marketing strategy and implementation. So I like to think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to marketing. On this particular playlist, I like to cover a lot of different kinds of marketing trainings, some for marketing people, some from business development people, some from MLM trainers. So if you have somebody that you want me to react to, you can leave it as a comment on this video, or if you're more shy, you can use the contact form of the breakingeveninc.com website. And we've got a little spreadsheet going of all the ideas, and we would love to hear yours as well. And this content is bingeable. If you find this video and like it, there is about 100 videos on the Nicole Reacts playlist. You can find that on the YouTube channel, or if you go to the breakingeveninc.com/blog section of our website, you can click on the Nicole Reacts category and get to it that way as well. So today's person is Pat Flynn. And it's funny because as I get deeper and deeper into this world of marketing people, I understand that I have these separate ideas in my head, and sometimes I don't connect them to the right person. So Pat Flynn is the owner of a website called Smart Passive Income. So I'd heard of Pat Flynn. I had heard of Smart Passive Income. I hadn't connected those two things together. Now, Pat Flynn went to architecture school and got fired from his dream architect job in 2008 when he turned to online business. So now he has a bunch of passive income streams and he advises some businesses. He is advising ConvertKit, Teachable, and Squadcast. And you probably have heard of ConvertKit. It's an email marketing company. You probably heard of Teachable, which is an online course platform. Squadcast is a sort of way to remote record. So if I was recording this with another person, Squadcast would allow me to record the audio on my end, them to record the audio on their end, and otherwise give us features that made the broadcast, I think, a lot better. So those are the three companies he's advising right now. And he seems to do a lot of passive income stuff. Now, I held off on doing a video about this particular person for a couple of reasons. Number one, on the surface, I don't think I have any problems with him. I haven't consumed a lot of his content. I feel like I was on his email list and it just wasn't my cup of tea probably 10-ish years ago. But I see that he claps back at people who make videos about him. And I have a channel that's literally 500 times or more smaller than his. So I wasn't really sure if I could take that kind of backlash, but I'm not going to necessarily say bad things. In the Nicole Reacts series, I like to talk about what I think of these people, and that includes saying what I think they're doing right. It seems like when I look at Pat Flynn's YouTube channel, it seems like most of the videos are around 10 minutes long. So instead of watching kind of one long video, we're going to watch like 3 10-ish minute videos. The first one I want to watch is the most recent one he's uploaded, which was 6 months ago. Now, I get it when you get to be probably a certain size, you don't necessarily have to upload videos as often. And also, you can't possibly be on every platform in a real way. So I understand that. But this first video, it seems like with the thumbnail that it's going to take a dig at people making short format content. So the title of the video is called Dear Short Form Video Creators. And the thumbnail says, I'm honestly worried for you. And worried is in all caps. So it seems like he disparages short form content, which kind of makes sense. When you go on his TikTok channel, I think it's his TikTok channel, he's got like 3,000 followers. He doesn't look like he uploads very often, but it looks like his first upload was in 2016. So it seems like he's been on the platform a while, but maybe isn't there in a real way. And listen, as a marketer, there's definitely some platforms that you prefer as a person, and you cannot possibly be on all of them. I can understand if he says, "You know what? Short form content isn't for me." But him saying that he's worried about short form content creators, I'm a little bit interested in hearing what he has to say about that. Clearly, Pat's a marketer. The title's intriguing. Let's take a listen.
This has got me really worried. If you create short form videos on Reels, TikTok, or Shorts, I'm very worried for you. I think that you are getting used. I think that you are setting yourself up for disappointment, and I think you should stop. So Roberto Blake tweeted this the other day. He's got a video that has 70,000 views. One video with just 70,000 views that has earned $770 in ad revenue. And here's the kicker right here. It says you would need 70 million short form views to earn the same money. That is a lot of views. And yes, you can get those kinds of views on short form platforms. The algorithm is absolutely amazing. And when you put content on there, you see people who wouldn't have found you otherwise, who are commenting, who are liking, who are subscribing, all the good things. But is that the right way to go about building an audience on these platforms and not even getting paid back for that? The more that you see that feedback, it makes you want to create more videos, which does what? Only grows those platforms, but doesn't grow your business or your bank.
This is interesting to me, and here's why. So, someone like Pat Flynn, who has a large audience, who creates content on the internet, is making money off of that content. And people who are content creators, influencers, people who are making money directly on the internet by building an audience, by being a subject matter expert, by producing a lot of content, that is one kind of business on the internet. The other kind of business on the internet is the small local business that uses the internet as a marketing channel. Those people don't expect to be paid for their content. They expect that their content is going to get people to come into their business, to come into their online store, but they use these platforms differently. So, if he's talking purely from a sort of creator, influencer, thought leader, monetized content perspective, that makes sense. But there's other businesses that are growing an audience, that are reaching out online, not necessarily with a monetization goal for that content in mind. Not small business owners that have a beauty salon or a gym or a retail store or a pizza place. This is a certain kind of business that he's talking to. So let's continue.
Your bank account, or you're getting paid nothing for these short form videos that you're putting so much time into. Yes, it's only a 60-second video, but how often are you spending time editing and coming up with those ideas and just kind of repeating that process? And then those videos go away. Like they're there, but they're gone. I mean, they're not hot anymore. They're not trending. So they just sit there doing nothing for you. I have videos.
I think this really depends on the platform. Honestly, I kind of see this whole like, peak and then sizzle a lot quicker on Instagram than I do on TikTok, for example. Like I have videos that are multiple years old that are still getting comments on them. I'm not saying they got as many comments as when I uploaded them. I'm saying that they still seem like they're findable. And I think YouTube has recently kind of re-engineered how shorts work because most people probably did the same experiment I did, which is I uploaded to YouTube Shorts on a really regular basis and then found that I didn't necessarily get a bunch of extra subscribers and it definitely didn't create any kind of monetization. So I stopped. And I'm wondering if that's why YouTube was like, oh, like unless we think how this is going to work a little bit better, people just aren't incentivized to create YouTube Shorts. So I will say, I think on TikTok, this does work differently than he's implying, but that's just my opinion.
I have videos that I've published on YouTube years ago that continued to pay me again and again and again, both through ad revenue and affiliate deals.
Yeah, the reason we all want to be monetized on YouTube is A, it pays the best, and B, people treat it like a search engine, which means you could make a video and have it be found, years later and therefore continue to produce revenue for you. That's why I worked so hard to get monetized on YouTube because, I have 450-ish videos that could be making me money once people found them on the platform. YouTube is an outlier in this way. Lot of platforms say they pay creators, but most of them, okay, none of them pay as well as YouTube currently.
Ugh, I'm sorry. And the other day I saw this video from creator Rafidi, who was talking about the fall of short form content
on individual social media platforms. In fact, Facebook, Meta, actually just suspended their creator fund, right? So the funds that they were giving out to creators who reach certain benchmarks has been suspended because they're not making enough money with short form.
This is really worrying. I mean, ultimately what's happening here, these
Yeah, here's the thing. Meta has been trying to catch up with TikTok for like 2 years now for a couple of reasons, but the main one being how the TikTok algorithm works versus Instagram. And you probably noticed on Instagram lately, you're probably seeing a lot more content from people you don't follow and stuff like that. And that's because Instagram is trying to sort of replicate the TikTok algorithm of feeding you stuff you might want to see. But honestly, like I think the Instagram search is kind of garbage. I find it really hard to find stuff on Instagram versus when I search it on TikTok. Now I think TikTok videos are being indexed in Google search too. So it's getting some additional visibility on the world's largest search engine. So, I mean, Meta can decide it's not going to pay its creators or it's going to de emphasize short format video. I think the thing is that most people are not on Facebook or haven't been on Facebook historically to watch short format video. We've been on Facebook to see what our neighbors are up to or to see pictures of the kids' first day of school or that kind of thing with a slice of life kind of stuff. Basically, Facebook tried to be TikTok and I think probably realized that people didn't want it to be TikTok. And I've never known Meta to like pay its creators particularly well. I know that Instagram for a while had some monetization to try to get people to do more live videos and things like that. But I hadn't heard from people being like, wow, Instagram is like really treating its creators well, or wow, I'm like really making good money on posting my content to Instagram. The people who make their money on Instagram and Facebook in general are people who are being paid by some kind of sponsorship. So they're creating content for brands that are paying them. The platforms haven't been paying them. I would say TikTok as well. Like I said, TikTok does have a creator fund. I don't think it necessarily pays particularly well because everyone that I follow on TikTok who has a big audience also monetizes other places. They have a membership platform, they have a course to sell, they have online products, they have an online retail store, that kind of thing. So
these platforms are discovering that it's hard to monetize their short form content. In fact, Instagram's going to go back to photos very soon because the feed is more profitable for them than short form videos.
This was recorded 6 months ago. I'm just reminding you. And I haven't seen that change necessarily happening. I think they're still trying to make short form videos happen. The thing with short format video is you can't monetize it the same way that you monetize long form content. Like if you're watching this video, it's probably what, an hour long at the, after I edit it. It's very easy to put a couple of ad breaks in there and have it not feel like you're watching one giant ad. But if you're trying to shove a 30-second ad every 2 to 3 60-second videos someone watches, what, 1/3 of the content they watch is going to be ad? Like that feels like a lot. I think it's kind of like back when publications moved from print to online, how the print publications used to monetize print advertising and how we try to just take that same model and be like, oh, we're just going to put banner ads on the internet and have people click on them. And we couldn't charge the same amount of money for those ads as we could for those print ads. So online publications for years have been struggling with, okay, like, do we have a subscription fee? Are we member supported and collect donations? Do we publish press release and other sort of quote unquote free content and have just a couple of reporters? People are really struggling with these questions. So I think rather than trying to monetize it in the same way, I think they just have to approach it completely differently, which I hope they do.
Just think about the way you watch videos. You're not excited to watch a 15-second to 30-second clip in the middle of just streaming through a whole bunch of other smaller clips, right? In fact, let me tell you about this guy, Arvin. Arvin is a creator from the UK. You probably don't know who he is because most people know his pet seagull, Steven. Yes.
Oh, Steven the Seagull.
And he's got
I had no idea who Arvin was, but I do know Steven the Seagull.
Short form content that's super fun and interesting. He's got millions of subscribers. I mean, watch this clip real quick.
For the past 10 days, I've been feeding my pet seagull. He comes every day for a little treat, but I think he's getting a little chubby.
Fight me, bitch.
And then there's Brady. Brady, you might not know, but you might know about his pet lobster that he bought from the grocery store and raised it. Now, Leon's up on YouTube, and here's a little clip just to give you an idea of what his content's like.
I'm not sure exactly if I'm rescuing it or more just curious about what they're like and how they act day to day. This one will definitely only be a pet, though.
Both Leon and Steven are massive. I mean, these are basically like real life Pokemon. I mean, Leon here has on this one video that came out 1 year ago, 23 million views. And every time Brady comes out with another Leon video, I mean, millions of views. And then Steven here, I mean, same thing, 24 million views on this, and he's got 3 million followers there. They both have merch. You can get the Leon Lobster Survive and Thrive bag. And then the Lord of the Wings sweater over at Steven. My favorite is, in fact, the Step Buddies pillow, however, Steven's side, so he definitely wins there. Leon has fans. He's the highlight of everyone's week. Nicholas says, no matter what's going on, I always find peace knowing what that Leon is doing well. And then Lindsay says, I'm a simple woman. I see Leon the Lobster. I hear that iconic Leon music, and I am complete. So we got some Leon fans there. And Steve has fans too. We love you, Steve. I would die for him. Not all of us crying together like one big happy family. Leon has memes. Me watching a video about a guy raising a lobster from a grocery store as a pet, knowing that I will have an exam tomorrow. And then, yes, Steven Seagal. There's one major difference between these two creators or
Yeah, the YouTube guy is going to make a lot more money. And I hadn't heard of him before, the lobster guy, to be honest with you, but I had seen the seagull guy. I do spend more time on TikTok.
pets who have creators on these different platforms. Leon is on long form. Steven is on short form. Leon long, Steven short. And you might be wondering, is long doomed because everything is about short form? But like we were talking about, no, it's actually the opposite. Long form is thriving, really. I think people want to go deeper with things, not deeper into the ocean, but deeper with content and deeper with story. And you can only do so much on a short form content platform. And this is why, when it comes to building audiences, both work really well. And in fact, I would argue that for building audiences, short form works incredibly well for getting in front of more people. But for building loyalty and long-term fans, the things that help your audience feel connected to you, a sense of belonging, connected to each other, long-form content all day. I will take long-form content all day long. And this is exactly.
I think most creators, right? Remember I said there's kind of the regular small businesses that we all know about. And then there's the people who make their money as a business on the internet. They're doing brand deals. They're creating and monetizing their content. They're selling merch. They're selling memberships. People who are making money online in this specific way. Most of the people who are doing that are also doing long form content in addition to the short form content. Like if your whole job is make content, you're probably going to make different kinds of content and see what works. And obviously it's easier to monetize long form content. So that's what a lot of us are doing. So I think people who are doing short form are also doing long form. Again, if making content online is how they get paid.
This is exactly why on my channel at Deep Pocket Monster, a YouTube channel I started 2 years ago, focusing mostly on long-form content and storytelling. I've got loyal fans. I have 5,000 paying members of the YouTube channel. I have people who buy merch and they sell out in just minutes. We have 600,000 subscribers, or almost 600,000, only after 2 years. Here's the big lesson. Short-form content is like a snack. It's like a little piece of candy. Yes, it gives people that satisfaction. It makes them feel...
But you can't live on it.
Feel good, but then they move on. Long-form content is like the full meal. You sit down, you have an experience, you eat it, and you feel full, and you're ready, and maybe you want to keep coming back to that thing to get that same meal later on. In the world of content creation, especially building fans and where we ultimately want to bring people in, which is into a community, I don't want to be the person who's handing out candy. I don't want to be the person who's just handing out snacks on Halloween, and then these people come up, and yeah, I could still have the best Halloween candy on the block. But if people come in, they grab that, where do they go? They go to the next house. That's like people swiping up to the next person, going over to the next house, getting the next snack, filling that.
I like the allusion to online dating there. But here's the thing. Like if you're a small business owner, like if you own a pizza shop, you know, and people just need to be reminded that you exist, right? I think short format video can serve a purpose too. Short format content for more traditional businesses can work well to get their potential customers educated on their products and services and to remind people that they exist. I think those are two valid reasons to make short videos too.
Feeling that little craving. We all know what sugar does to us. It just makes us want more, right? And sometimes I do feel like if I get into a TikTok rabbit hole, I'm like, I do feel kind of unsatisfied after all that. But when I watch a long form video that goes deep into a particular topic that I've interested in, I mean, it feels like I was sitting down at a restaurant. And that's the kind of creator I want to be. The one that invites you to come in, to sit down, to have an experience, to invite your friends, knowing what you're going to get here. This is where loyalty comes in. This is where you can serve multiple courses and have people experience this thing That is your channel. That is your long form content. That is your brand. If the house at the end of the block that once gave the best candy disappears, you don't think twice about it. But if your favorite restaurant gets shut down and you love it so much, I mean, you're going to file a petition and get all the people in the neighborhood who also love it to join forces and do a GoFundMe to keep that restaurant alive, right? That's the difference between what can happen when you build a short form video audience and a long form video audience. Loyalty. So if you're not doing so already, I would take a lot of that energy you're creating to build audiences on short form platforms, get up on YouTube, create a podcast, something long form to go deep with people. Because in the future,
most people who are creating content online are doing this already. And I think when I create short form videos on TikTok, I just want people to know I exist, to think about me when they think about marketing and reach out to me. That's what that's for. It's just kind of out there, reminding people I exist. And honestly, like I really enjoy short format storytelling a lot. It's really fun, but it does take time to do, which is why I don't do it every single day.
Future, that's what's going to be required for you to stand out. The relationships that you build, the connections that you make, the community that you surround yourself with, and that you bring together as a creator. That's what's going to help you stand out. And it's not going to happen on short form video.
Fair enough. I agree with him. I just think the title was a little misleading. Like, I'm worried about you. Being worried about someone implies that they're doing something wrong or something dangerous, or that they're putting themselves in a position that is difficult. I don't know. I think if you are a local tattoo shop and you want to make short videos about people who come in and get tattoos, I think that's going to let people know what kind of tattoos you do and the style you do. And I think it's going to remind local people that you exist so that when they're thinking about a tattoo, you are top of mind. I think they serve a purpose. I don't think it's a building long-term relationship purpose, but I think it is a way to get people in the door, literally and figuratively. I appreciate that Pat seems to walk the line between having sort of interesting, like, kind of titles without necessarily promising income. So, for example, he has this video here called How I Made $1 Million with These 5 Products, parentheses, affiliate marketing tips. So to me, parentheses, affiliate marketing tips is like, here's something you can walk away with. And I'm not necessarily implying that you can make $1 million on 5 products like I just did. I also wanted to look at a video that Pat has done about something a little bit more technical. So this video is called SEO for non-SEO people like you. I don't know, Pat, a little bit of an assumption. I feel like I'm pretty good at SEO. SEO stands for search engine optimization, by the way. So obviously, if you have a website, you want it to perform well in search engines because that's how most websites get most of their traffic. So I'll be curious how he approaches a technical topic like this versus the sort of commentary type video that we watched previously.
Hey, it's Pat here. Look, SEO or search engine optimization, it's pretty
Thank you, Pat, for explaining an acronym you've introduced. See, multi-level marketing trainers, it's not hard to explain an acronym. He just did it in 5 seconds.
pretty complicated, or at least that's how we make it out to be. It can actually be pretty simple to understand. If you want to rank higher for keywords and get free organic traffic coming in from Google, well, then this video is for you. So I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine, Tim, over at Ahrefs. It's a tool that I use to audit my website, to check rankings, to see what the backlinks are, and just get a pulse on my website. And Tim laid out exactly how anyone and everyone should be approaching search engine optimization today. I'm going to cover the highlights of that conversation here in this video, so you don't have to listen to or watch a 45-minute conversation. All the juicy stuff is right here.
So if you were to boil down how to succeed in SEO to a simple advice, that would be like, be the best source of information, be the most credible source of information, and you'll be good.
That's it. That's really all what it comes down to from a high level. Create the best content to serve an audience and become the most credible resource about a topic. So how do we do that? Well, we'll get to that. But Tim also said something really interesting about Google itself and it not necessarily being the dominant search engine anymore, depending on what people are looking for. Here's what he means.
Google is no longer a dominant force in search. If you need, for example, to look up some reviews of, Pokemon cards, you would rather go and look on YouTube because you can actually see people opening boxes, reviewing those cards, looking at them, discussing them. But when you search for those things for reviews of different products on Google, you don't really know if the people who wrote those articles ever touched those products themselves, or they just went to Amazon, looked up a few reviews from people on Amazon, and quickly wrote their article. So yeah, I believe search is more kind of fragmented now. People use different sites to search for different things. I think YouTube is very important for both for businesses and for people who do this as a hobby, for people who are bloggers. For shopping, Amazon is, of course, I find myself starting my shopping related, e-commerce related searches on Amazon first, and then I would try to search for local sites and such.
What this really comes down
I will also add, like, if you're looking for certain kinds of information. So, for example, if I want a really honest review about something, I will look for Reddit posts about it. And in a Pinterest example, I'll link to that video about Pinterest driving traffic in the show notes below that I made about a year ago. And what's interesting is, like, if you search office rugs on Google, you get a bunch of really ugly stuff. But if you go to office rugs on Pinterest, you get like good looking rugs. So I think that search is more fragmented. Google is not the only place people are looking for information. And I think if you have information about your business across a lot of different platforms, I think that that's helpful in a general way.
comes down to is user or searcher intent. What is the person looking for and what are they hoping to get when they search for something? Here's Tim with a specific example, probably the lowest hanging fruit that you could have as a website owner in regards to search engine rankings.
The lowest hanging fruit for any website owner is to simply be conscious, be aware if the pages, or rather the topics of the pages that they have on their website, are something that people are actively searching for. In other words, doing keyword research. For example, if you have I don't know, a pool cleaning company, and you have a bunch of different services that you do in terms of pool cleaning. I don't know, fixing the pumps and blah blah blah. I'm not really familiar with pool cleaning, to be very specific with this. But the thing is,
I know sometimes when you're like talking, you like think of an example and then you're like, oh crap, I actually really don't know anything about this enough to round out this example the way I want to.
people would create a page, call it our services, and just list all the services there in one bulleted list and call it a day. So no, like what should people look for if they're looking for pool cleaning services? Like if the title of your page is our services, what you should be doing instead, you should create a dedicated page with the name of each service that you're doing. So if someone would search for how do I fix my pump to like, or something is stuck in my pool pump or whatever, or like how to clean the water, or the water in the pool got murky, you have a page about it. You have a dedicated page so people can land on it. First of all, Google can understand that you have an answer to this question that someone is asking in Google. They can refer people to your page. So the lowest hanging fruit is to simply be conscious of what kind of content you have on your website, and is it something that people would be searching for in Google, and is your page properly answering that query? And it should be kind of one page per one topic. Don't try to squeeze everything onto one page and hope that one page would rank for everything.
Now, if you're looking,
I agree with this to an extent. I think sometimes people try to make separate pages when really they just have 3 sentences to say about the thing. Also, we need to consider that there's a whole no-click SEO thing happening with Google right now. So I'll link to the broadcast I did with Shane Perry about it last year in the show notes. But the short format version of this is that about 60% of searches on Google right now result in not clicking over to a website. So they try to show you the results on the Google page without you even having to click through to the website. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're interested in that, like I said, that broadcast is really good, but just know that that's happening. That if someone is searching for your business phone number, Google could just make it pop up on the top of the Google search page without people having to go to your website to see the phone number, that kind of thing. So overall, if your search traffic has been going down, it might be because of factors like that.
if you're looking for a tool to use for keyword research, again, I do recommend Ahrefs. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is a really good tool. I'll say that.
You could also use Google's keyword planner tool. And one of my favorite tools is actually a tool called answerthepublic.com. This is actually a website where you can type in a seed keyword and it gives you questions that people are asking all over the internet. And those are questions that you could answer, and hopefully the best way to serve that audience of yours.
Answer the Public has been purchased by Neil Patel's company, and I think you only get like 3 free queries a month. So just kind of keep that in mind. And I think Ahrefs has a 1 or 2 week free trial. It's not a tool that I continuously use, but sometimes I like get a free trial and sort of audit some things and do my research and then get out of there. But yes, all three of these tools I like and appreciate.
Now, remember what I said earlier about user intent or searcher intent? That is
Mhm.
so important here, especially when it comes to, well, what should end up on that page of yours? Here's Tim talking about searcher intent as well as backlinks and how they play a role.
Search intent or searcher intent. Different people call it differently. Basically, what it refers to is what do people expect to get when they search for this particular keyword? So affiliate marketing, what do people expect? Do they even expect a long form article? Maybe if you had a gated course where they leave their email and they get like a full course on affiliate marketing to their email is what more of these searchers expect, what would satisfy their search. So a quick story of our own website. We had a landing page for covering one of our functionalities, which is backlink checker. Ahrefs has a backlink checker as one of our tools.
Yep.
Thank you. And we had a kind of regular feature page. We were explaining, so we have this tool, it does this and that. Here are some screenshots. Here are some statistics, blah, blah, blah. And we were ranking number 8 for backlink checker. And despite all the optimizations, we were optimizing speed, we were optimizing the images on our website, we were optimizing the text on our website. Nothing was we were even building more backlinks to this page. Nothing was helping us. And then we noticed that the pages that were outranking us were free tools. So the searcher intent, when they were looking,
Yeah, free backlink checker is what you search for, right? Because most of us, we just want to know how many backlinks are coming into our website and what they are. And we don't necessarily want to pay for that information in an ongoing way.
looking for backlink checker seemed to be that they wanted a free tool which would work for them right away. They didn't want to learn that there's some software that has backlink checker functionality, but you have to pay for it to use it. No, they would rather click on something that says free backlink checker, use it now, use it today. So what we did, we made almost no changes to our landing page. We just added an input form, like enter your website and like see my backlinks. Almost immediately in the course of the week, this page shot up to number 1. And I think right now it's one of our most popular pages in terms of search traffic. It's generating tons of visitors to our website. It is ranking number 1 since the time we made this change, and no one is able to outrank us because Ahrefs is also the authority on backlinks. But even though we were authority on backlinks, without nailing the search intent, without giving people what they want, we couldn't rank. So this is the first thing. It's not necessarily a question of should I make my page longer? Should I make my page shorter? Should I answer all those questions on the same page? Or should I create some kind of hub where people would land on kind of an introductory page? Like this is an introductory course to affiliate marketing. Click on chapter 1 and then you send them to subsequent pages. Or if this is like a video course that is gated, where they have to leave their email and get it. Or if this is a course where like all the videos are already published on the same page. You have to like the only way to know is to experiment with it, to publish a page and see if people like it, if people enjoy it. And another important thing is, of course, getting backlinks, because someone is already ranking for affiliate marketing and they might not necessarily be nailing the search intent. So people might not necessarily like what they're seeing on that page for affiliate marketing, but they have acquired so many backlinks historically that Google thinks that this is the best possible page. So if you are a
I don't know if this is a dig against Neil Patel, just going to say that.
brand new blogger, I would say that it would be nearly impossible for you to rank for this kind of keyword. But
I think he said he ranked number 1 for affiliate marketing, and I'm not sure how happy people are with his content generally. I've talked to a few people anecdotally, and they are like me, and they're like, yeah, I think this blog used to be good, but now I feel like it's not as great as it used to be.
For you, because you have an audience, you have lots of people, bloggers, marketers, podcasters following you. And if you create a really amazing resource and you promote it within your audience, people will start referencing it and people will start referencing your page. And you need to answer the question, why? Why is your resource better than what's already there? Why did you bother to create it other than to rank and get search traffic for it? What kind of additional value your research adds adds to the world? Like, be honest with you. Can you create something better than the top 3 search results? Can you like give people better tips? Can you teach them something they cannot see from those top pages? And if you can provide something on top of it, and then you have an audience that would help amplify this, that would link to it, that would talk about it, that would retweet it, Google will notice it.
Next, how do we become the most
The part I was expecting him to say, but he didn't, is that also people will search different things if there are different points in like the sort of buying or information acquisition process. So, for example, if I am searching for DIY composting, that is somebody who's probably not looking to spend any money. But if somebody is looking for odor-free composting or fast composting or composting in a small space, that means somebody has a specific problem and they're probably willing to throw a little bit of money at it to not have a smelly compost on their counter. And then there's people who are like composters for sale or best composter wire cutter. So there's also like a level that people are like, I am ready to buy something and I'm searching specifically to compare stuff to buy. That's the other kind of level of keyword stuff that I was thinking they would get into, but just mentioning it here, that there are certain kind of signals, right? And yeah, maybe you want the DIY composter to come to your website, but I wouldn't spend a lot of energy trying to get that person to your website. But I would spend energy trying to get people who have either a specific problem to solve or who are actively ready to spend money on it to come to your website.
most credible resource about something, right? It's one thing to have the best material, but how do we gain credibility, not just in the eyes of Google, but in the eyes of humans? And if we do it for the eyes of humans, then we also become that for Google. Well, anyway, here's Tim.
In terms of being a credible source, there's a lot of discussion in the SEO world about this being a true factor or not. Like, people are debating how would Google know if you, for example, if you are a real dentist or not, to be talking about some dental surgeries and stuff, or if you just made a fake personality, wrote it in the author bio that you're like have a PhD or like have some awards or something, and Google will kind of read that and think that you're a real person. But essentially, it boils down to having links to your website. Because if you are an authority in your space, other people in your space should know you and they should reference your work in some way. So, for example, let's go back to that pool cleaning website. If you do a good job, if you're an authority, and if you create content on your website, when people in your local community on the local forum would be discussing their problems with the pools, someone would put a link to your website because they used your services, they enjoyed it, you helped them with their issue, and they would reference you.
Or they would tag you on that platform. And what I've seen happen to people is, because a lot of people don't really know how to tag, in particular on Facebook, is they'll just write the name of the business thinking they've tagged the business. But sometimes people will tag me or my business directly in something that they think I can help with.
So this is how Google knows that you are an authority, because other people mention your website, mention your content. Some people also think that even mentions of your brand, even if those mentions are not linked to your website, do influence this. For example, my name or your name, people mention us in articles all around the internet, and not necessarily they would link to our website. So Google might see that, okay, this article is written by Tim Solo, and we saw the name Tim Solo on, I don't know, 100 websites. So this guy must be real. Of course, this can be gamed because you can create 1,000 websites, you can put a fake persona there, but those signals can influence this. Another thing is that Google seems to be very conscious of user behavior factors, and they are using human raters to rate their search results. So probably they also look at the page and look at like how your website is structured. Is it good looking? Because if it looks like it's from 90s, people can trust this. People wouldn't put their credit card on a page that looks like it was created 20 years ago. So if you're investing effort in your website, if it is clean, if it is good looking, if it works fast and well, those things also contribute to your kind of authority. But the main thing is
loads fast, mobile friendly, accessible. I'll link to some resources below that might be helpful if you're trying to sort of evaluate like how your website appears in the world. So as my friend Matt would say, it's kind of like when you get your car inspected, how they check for certain functionalities, but they don't judge you based on your car's paint color or what kind of bumper stickers you have. These are the kind of tools I'm going to link to in the show notes below.
Being the authority, not trying to fake it. If you are an authority, you are an authority. Like I even struggle to explain this, but I think the concept is more or less understandable.
As you can see, search engine optimization is becoming what it should have always been. It's about creating the best material or the best resource for the right person who is searching for something. It wasn't always like that. You could game the system, and many people still are, but it was much worse back in the day, and websites that were ranking didn't deserve to rank. It's becoming a little bit better. Remember, that's Google's goal eventually. So go with their goal, create the best material, and become the most credible resource like we talked about. Now, if you want to see your backlinks, you also want to see what keywords you're ranking for, where it can be improved, and also just in general, what you can improve on your website for search engine optimization. I highly recommend checking out Ahrefs Webmaster Tools, AWT. It's free to use.
It is a good tool. You can also check out Google Webmaster Tools. That is a free tool. You register your website and it'll point out things like if you have a mobile display issue or if there's something wrong with a specific page or something like that. But, you know, yes, Ahrefs is going to go into a lot more detail and probably sort of walk you through some more specific things, but it is a paid tool.
It's free to use and you can get access to it right now. I have a link on the screen and a link right on the description to help you out. And you can pop in.
Okay, so the link on the screen is not an affiliate link. I'll check the link in the description after the video is done playing.
Your website there and just get a pulse on everything that's going on and see what the best opportunities there are for you to rank higher, to get more traffic and all that good stuff. So hope you enjoy this video. Make sure you subscribe because we got a lot more SEO stuff coming your way, plus other things to help you grow as a creator. And I'll see you in the next one.
And the link you put in the show notes below also is not an affiliate link, apparently. And just FYI, there's no other SEO videos besides this one that have been posted after this one. So we're not missing anything else. And to round things out, I thought we would watch a short video about how to make YouTube thumbnails. So we've watched a commentary. We've talked about SEO, which is a bit more technical. This is a tutorial of how to do something specific. So let's take a look.
Hey, it's Pat here. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I made this thumbnail, the thumbnail that you clicked on, in less than 5 minutes. Obviously,
Canva template.
It worked on you or else you wouldn't be here. But I got to say, it looks pretty good. And it doesn't take much to put it together. So let me show you. Step one, you want to take a photo of yourself posing. Now, you could sit there for hours trying to get the perfect pose. Or you can use this little trick. That'll save you hours. Okay, maybe not hours, but a lot of minutes.
Great.
Now we're here on my desktop, and as you can see, there is a video capture situation going on. You don't have to do this on your computer. You can actually just have a video camera. And again, video being the key word. In the highest resolution possible, you'll want to record yourself making a bunch of different poses. It's going to look really silly, but I'm going to do it right in front of you right now so you can see exactly how it works. And I'm using Ecamm Live to do this because it's just really easy. I love the tool, and it's actually used.
Nice. And that is an affiliate link, which is, I hope he discloses in the description or discloses now.
Streaming, but I'm using it for the thumbnail generation purposes as well. And this is actually how I do my thumbnails. So I'm going to hit record, and it's recording right now. I'm going to put this mic away because I don't want it in the frame, and just hang tight. Watch me for 10 seconds. Okay, I think that's good enough. A little embarrassing because you're watching the whole thing happen, but I'm here to show you how.
I can appreciate this. I have to send a picture of myself in for something, and I've been avoiding it for 2 days because I hate every picture I take. So I appreciate this disclosure here and him showing us behind the scenes.
To show you how the magic works. Finish. And as you can see, if I hit end recording, it's going to bring up, here we go, show file. I'm going to show that file. I'm going to open this, and this is the video that was just being played. And I'm going to shrink it just a little bit. And now I'm going to scrub through this until I find the right pose. Here it is. Watch. Is it that one? No. I want to be in the other direction. This is why I do it both ways. There we go. There. Do I like myself looking or looking at the camera? Maybe like that.
Yeah, sure.
Let's try a little bit more. Nope. Okay. That's it. There. That's the one right there. That's the one I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of this.
Okay.
And the way you might take a screenshot is different for operating system you use, Windows or Mac. I'll put some instructions below, but I'm going to take a screenshot just like that. And then I'm going to use a tool called Canva that you can check out. Check it out at patflynn.com/Canva. And here I am.
Okay, I'll be curious if he discloses these are affiliates in the show notes.
In Canva. Hey, I just had to cut in really quick because the tool that I'm about to share with you, first of all, Canva is free to use. But there's a particular tool that I'm using here in this demonstration that I didn't know was a part of the Pro plan. Now, if you're going to be doing thumbnails all the time and removing backgrounds and stuff, it would definitely be worth it. But I just wanted to be upfront with you in case you were looking for an absolutely free way to do this. Now, you can still use Canva to create the thumbnail. You'll just have to find a way to remove the background from your own self. And
remove.bg.
There are lots of apps and other things that can do that. Canva can do that for you, but in the Pro option, and it's just easier. I use this thing every single day, actually, but I just wanted to be upfront and let you know. Anyway, let's get back to the tutorial. So
no, it's good. I appreciate that he did that.
I'm going to go and click on Create a Design. I already set up an account, and I'm going to Edit Photo. And now I'm going to upload that screenshot that I just took, which automatically gets placed into my Dropbox folder. And there it is right there. I'm going to hit Edit Photo. And now I need to give it a minute because it's uploading. You can see the upload here on the left-hand side. It's like a little wave. It should be done in 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Now I can click on Edit Image, and you'll see here there's a BG remover. That stands for background remover. I'm just going to click that. And what is really cool about Canva is this remover does a really good job of finding faces and bodies to then remove the background from. There we go, just like that. Now, if I save it as is, I mean, it's going to save automatically in Canva. That's really cool. But I want to actually download this as a transparent file. Right now, it just kind of whitened out the background. I want to hit download and hit transparent background and hit download. All right, we got it there. It's Untitled Design 1. I should probably have named this, but I'm just moving fast here for you. Next, I'm going to go back to the home page of Canva, and I'm going to click the search and go to YouTube thumbnail. And there we go. This is a template gallery for yourself if you want to choose from any of these designs. Yep. But I'm going to get this guy out of here. And now all I have to do is bring in the photo that was just downloaded. So I'm going to go to Uploads here. You can see the original file here, but I'm going to click Upload Media because I want the transparent version. Untitled Design 1, it's uploading right now. And there it is. And I'm just going to drag and drop this over to the canvas here. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. The blue shirt does definitely stand out on the red background. And I can choose from a bunch of different backgrounds.
I want to point out also that he's really well lit. Like you see that there's a light coming from kind of underneath him as well. And that's going to make a really big difference in your thumbnails too. So if you have lighting, use that. But you can also just like go outside to take some pictures too. Especially if you're going to remove the background, that's not really going to matter. And then your whole, everything around you will be well lit. And yeah, I think that that can make a big difference too.
Backgrounds, but here we go. The most attractive thumbnail. That's not what I want. I want how I made this thumbnail. Oh, a little bit too big there. So I'm going to decrease the font. That looks pretty good. I'm going to move it down just a tad. There we go. Let's click on thumbnail, and I'm going to put how I made this thumbnail in less than 5 minutes. It's a little bit big. I'm going to shrink it just a little bit, and I'm going to move it around. All right. Now, as you can see, my fingers are blocking it a little bit, and I do want to see in 5 minutes, which I can see there. So I'm going to make sure that I click on my face there. I could probably make this a little bit larger, actually. The beauty of this is I can play around with it a little, right? I can create different versions that maybe I could split.
So he's in his screen right now, and then it shows his uploads, and you can see it's basically a bunch of pictures of himself, like doing different poses.
Test using TubeBuddy. I'm going to make this super large and just see what happens here. Actually, this one actually looks a little bit better because my face is taking up more of the screen. If I want to add a shadow, I can just go to Search Effects and go Shadow and add a shadow around your image. I can use this. We can go a little bit of a glow. Actually, a drop shadow. Yeah, there we go. I need to make this a little bit bigger, but look, notice the shadow there. That wasn't there before. All right, so that's all it took. And all I need to do is go to download. And I don't need the transparent background for this one, but I'm going to save it as a JPEG. And it looks like it's ready to go. I'm going to hit down.
You can also like customize these to your brand fonts and colors and things like that, and have it kind of match your aesthetic a little bit. You typically aren't stuck with exactly how the template is set up. I just wanted to point that out.
I'm going to hit download, and there it is. That's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe because I got more tips for you coming your way to help you as a creator.
Okay, so 3 videos in, I like Pat Flynn. He seems similar to me in that he generally knows about a lot of internet stuff, It seems like Pat Flynn and I kind of started our businesses in literally the exact same year. So maybe this is what I would have become if I had money. But I wanted to watch one kind of video to round out this what do I think of Pat Flynn experiment. He has some videos where he talks about how he makes money. So, if anything, this could make or break my final opinion of this person. So, we're going to watch 10 ways that he makes millions in passive income. Okay. 17 minutes long. Let's check it out.
Hey, it's Pat here. And in this video, I'm going to reveal 10 different passive income strategies that are working for me right now. And in fact, one of them, as you can see on the screen right now, is over $4.5 million in earnings since I started. I'm going to share that and also two important things for each of these items. Number one, exactly how you can get started, the best way to get started. And number two, the biggest mistake that I personally made with each of these so that you can avoid the same traps that I fell into. So here we go. Let's start with number one, YouTube ad revenue. We're on YouTube right now, so we might as well talk about it. This YouTube channel started in 2009. That's a long time ago, but it didn't start earning an income until I turned ads on much, much later. And since then, you can see the total on the screen right now that this channel has earned. I have another YouTube channel in the Pokemon.
On the screen was $180,000. And just to give you an idea, I have a little over 1,000 subscribers. I monetized about 6 weeks ago, and I have made $7.
On collection space, as you can see here, and it has already began to start earning an income as well through YouTube ad revenue. Both of these have also earned an income through YouTube memberships, people subscribing to support creators like myself. The best way to get started is to just publish videos. In order to gain an income through this means, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time on YouTube. Therefore, you just got to get started and keep pumping out those videos. The faster you do that, the more you're going to get your wheels going and start to get an understanding of what works and what doesn't. And you're going to be better off by publishing, even if the videos are bad, versus just waiting until you're perfectly ready and the time is right, because the time is right was a long time ago. And this relates.
I can agree with that. I will also say, as somebody who's been creating YouTube videos for at least 12 years, it really helps to network with other people who are in your space and create videos together so you can get in front of each other's audiences and support each other's work. That's going to be really important if he doesn't mention it.
This relates to the biggest mistake that I made on YouTube a while back, which was worrying about being perfect. There was a good 2-year period where I didn't publish anything because I was just too afraid the videos weren't good enough. And it wasn't until 2017 that I started to get back into the motion and the income started to climb from there. Number two, publishing books.
So I'm putting this video back on the screen so we can talk about it. What you'll notice is stuff goes up and down, and there's 2 giant spikes, which probably I'm thinking made him a lot of revenue off of those particular traffic spikes. And I'd be really curious if we look at the $180,000 that he made, how much of it came from these 2 pink spikes. That's what I would be curious about.
2017 that I started to get back into the motion and the income started to climb from there. Number two, publishing books. I currently have 3 books. I have Let Go, Will It Fly, and Superfans. I wrote these books a long, long time ago.
Okay, I have heard of Will It Fly and Superfans also as books. Like I said, I feel like I have a familiarity with these different things, but I haven't necessarily connected them all together.
One of them actually over 10 years ago. And all of the books still continue to provide an income for me every single month. They're for sale on Amazon, and I'll share a report in the description below for one of my books, Will It Fly, where I revealed exactly how much money that made. And it was in this.
This report is from 2016 and says total book earnings self-published, and it's $224,000.
It was in the 6-figure range, even as a self-published author. The number one way to get started is to just write a crappy first draft. The hard thing about this is you're going to want to make your book perfect right out the bat, but any author will tell you that the first draft is the worst draft. And that's where you get all your ideas out on paper. Then you finally sift through that sand and build your sandcastle. And you're going to have a lot of leftover stuff that you're not going to even use. The biggest mistake that I made was thinking that I had to write everything that I knew in one book. In fact, the riches are in the niches. If you pick a particular audience and a particular problem that audience has, and
okay, do you guys say niche or niche? Because I say niche.
And you write about that and you solve their problems and you make their life more convenient, or you inspire them or you entertain them in whatever way you can, well, you're going to find better results. The riches are in the niches. And with books, that is definitely definitely the case. Selling digital products. I've been selling my own digital products ever since I started online. It started with an ebook to help people pass an architectural exam. And today I help people do all kinds of things from podcasting to affiliate marketing, email marketing, webinars. What I love
He does have a lot of content on his YouTube channel about podcasting, so that makes sense.
about this is, although it takes a little bit of time to put these digital courses together, what's amazing is once they're done, they're done. And the whole thing can be automated, which is really, really amazing. As you saw earlier, and as will pop up on the screen again, we are
$4,671,000. I'm just gonna say it. I don't know about how I feel about automating an entire course. I think that if someone buys a course from you and you're a subject matter expert, part of what they're paying to access is you and maybe being able to ask you questions or maybe being able to somehow interact with you, even if it's through like sort of comments or forums of some sort. I don't know. I just think that's something that most courses should include. And after this, we will go look at how much his courses cost.
we are approaching $5 million in
5
total
million in
earnings.
sales.
And yes, this is across multiple courses, but even our most popular course, Power Up Podcasting, has well over $2 million in earnings. The beauty of this is not only do I have money coming in, I have incredible thank you notes from people who said their lives have been changed as a result of the work that I've been able to help them with. That's what it's about. It's about serving first in the way that you know you can. The best way to get started is to talk to an audience, discover what their problems are. Again, the riches are in the niches, but what are they dealing with? What are their struggles? Pick one struggle, find one person and help them get one result. And that's going to unlock so much, not just in a process that you could teach later, but in your mind about the confidence that you have to be able to help people. One problem, one customer, one result. Start.
I don't disagree with this. I think you need to demonstrate that your product works with more than one person and produces results with multiple different people. But I think that is definitely a start for sure.
Start there. One of the biggest mistakes I made was thinking that the value of the course was in just how much stuff was in there, right? Like more video, more content, more worksheets, more text. That equals bigger price and I could charge more. Not true. In fact, value comes in convenience. Some of the best courses that we offer are actually our shortest because it helps a person get a result faster. I mean, what do you think is more valuable? Helping a person change a tire in 5 hours or 15 minutes? Value is not tied to how much time something takes. It's the result that is promised and then earned. Number 4, let's talk about physical products. I actually co-invented a product with my editor, Caleb, and he and I created what's called the SwitchPod at switchpod.co. It's a fancy little tripod that opens and closes, and it solves a very specific problem in a very specific niche. Videographers, but not just any videographers, ones who want a compact tripod that's easy to pack away, super lightweight, and very sturdy. How did we get started with this? Well, we went to a conference and just talked to people about their biggest problems. What were the little frictions that they had? We found out that there was not a good solution for just holding a camera when you're vlogging. So we created that. The biggest mistake, however, was thinking that we were going to build a solution overnight because I was used to creating digital products. I just talked about that. But the physical product world takes a lot longer. It took us, I think, 14 to 15 months to create 13 different prototypes. We started with cardboard and then cutouts and then 3D printed versions and then a metal version. It just took a lot of time. And also, of course, physical products take a lot more money too. But we were able to kickstart this thing in February of to nearly $500,000 and nearly 5,000 backers. It was just such an amazing experience. And the cool thing about physical products is a person purchases it, they get it, and it could already be used.
Okay, so just pausing to say the math out loud. $500,000 from 5,000 backers is about $100 per backer. So people paid about $100 for this tripod.
Used, right? Like they don't have to go through a course to get the result. The result comes immediately when they use this thing, and that's really fulfilling. Number 5, paid memberships or membership communities. Community is, in my opinion, the future of all business, and building an audience is very different than building a community. We have a community called SPI Pro where people pay a premium to have access every month to not just myself and my team, but everybody else in the community as well. The price acts as a filter to make sure that people who are in there are serious about the businesses that they're building. And it also puts skin in the game so that they're going to show up and participate.
I make something high price so that people have skin in the game. Okay, can you just also say it so you can make enough money so that you can maybe pay for a couple of community managers or something like that? Just acting like you're entirely doing it for the person that's paying for it. Come on.
Participate and get value and give value. There are free and paid memberships today about anything. And SPI Pro is a premium membership, and it's earning hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. And it was just launched a couple.
premium membership. Okay, we're gonna go look at his products after this. I'm glad we watched this video.
Years ago during the pandemic. Now you might be like, Pat, what do you have in there? You already have courses.
Yeah.
What other content do you put in here? It's not about the content at all. In fact, it is not a content play whatsoever. It is a community play. It's a connection play. And in this space online where especially communities of a certain kind, who have a certain language, who have a certain culture, who have a certain understanding of something specific that maybe the people near them don't know, well, we can be the one to step up to create a safe space for these people to come together and find each other. And that is of value. And because it's of value, it's something you could charge for. The best way to get started with this is to maybe bring a small group of people into something like a Facebook group or a Circle group. You can go to circle.so. It's a company that allows you to create sort of a Facebook Slack type of feel, but on your own that you get to control. And that's what we use for our communities
So the link that was on the screen was an affiliate link for the Circle thing.
too. And bring a small group in there and start chatting and seeing what that's like. The biggest mistake, however, is thinking that a community is passive. It is actually
It is not.
very, very not passive. It's very active. It's mostly passive for me. I mean, I'm still active in there. We do AMAs and
It's mostly passive for me because I pay someone to manage the community.
we have events and challenges every single month that I participate in. But I hired a team. We have a community director and some managers and some people in there to make sure that the community is engaged and just to keep.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I will have people who will say like, "Oh, I want to start like a community or something," and I'll pitch how much we would charge to manage that community, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's kind of expensive. I'm just going to do it myself." And it's like, yeah, like you can do it yourself. It's just that it takes time, And are you willing to put forth, half an hour a day to let people into the group, to answer questions, to post content, to be active so that people want to keep being in the group? Somebody needs to be kind of pushing things forward.
To keep the conversations flowing. So if you think that you could set up a community and set it and forget it, that's not going to be the case. Communities definitely take work. And although the recurring income every single month is fantastic, it is not necessarily set and forget. So that's just something to keep in mind and something that became a big lesson for me right away. And that's why I'm grateful for the team. Oh, and by the way, if you want to check out SPI Pro and see if it's the right thing for you, we do let people in once per quarter. You can apply to see if it's the right fit. Go to spipro.com. Again, that's spipro.com. It's as easy as that. Number 6.
Oh my God, you have to apply to be in it.
6, coaching. I have 4 students who I meet with every single week for 30 minutes each week. And it's up to them to come to me with the right questions. And I challenge them. I support them. I answer their questions. But I also ask a lot of questions to help unpack not just what's going on in their business, but what's going on up here as well. There's a really good book called The Coaching Habit by Michael Bungay-Stanier that I would highly recommend. I use that process for how I coach my students, and you should too. And that's actually where I'd recommend you get started. Check out that book and then find one person that you could coach. I would charge for that because your time is valuable and you should charge for that. Maybe you could start a little bit smaller and then increase your price over time as you add more students. But it is such a fulfilling thing to be able to coach a person through a process. And coaching is not, and this is the mistake, coaching is not just giving advice. As Michael Bungay-Stanier says, you can become the advice monster, which only overwhelms a person even more often. You might have ideas and things that you want to share, but first, you want to ask questions to see if this person can come up with those ideas. Because like Inception, if they can come up with those ideas, it's going to be more meaningful and they're going to be more likely to take action on that. You, knowing what those answers perhaps should be, can just ask the right questions to guide them there. That's kind of actually how I parent too. Hey, bud, do you think licking the floor is actually healthy for the human body? Now, coaching, I do one-on-one, but there's also group coaching that I do in a cohort-based style fashion. And that is number 7 here, a cohort-based, what we call boot camp or cohort-based course. Now, remember how I have those digital courses? Well, I take those digital courses and turn them into 6 to 8 week boot camps where I essentially just teach the same thing, but live with people over the lessons over the course of those weeks. And it's really cool because it's more interactive. There's a couple times that we meet per week, once on Monday and once on Thursday for office hours. But other than that, it's pretty hands-off because they already have the lessons that they're watching inside of the digital course. Those little touch points along the way hold people accountable. And as a result of those touch points and a little bit of access to you, you can charge a lot more. For my podcasting course, for example, which retails at $699, the digital course, I charge $5,000.
Oh my God. There are resources out there that do not cost that much. I'm so glad I watched this video because like the free content, I was like, yes, I agree with all this stuff, but the price points of some of this stuff, if you want to join Anchor Space, which is my co-working space, every time we do a course, I put a digital version of it on the Anchor Space website. And one of the courses we did in 2021 was with Zach Miller, and he's a TV and audio producer, and he produces one of the top 1% of all podcasts right now. He gives us really good information in that course, and joining the Anchorspace virtual community is like $19 a month. Unless you are helping people set up the iTunes feed, unless you are like helping people edit the files, like, or like you got to be pretty hands-on to charge $700 for a class. Hey guys, editing Nicole. So I thought he was talking about the class being $700, and what I'm realizing now is he said the self-paced online class was $700 and the live class, this cohort thing, was $5,000, which I think is even more ridiculous. So this reaction I'm having at 700, multiply it by 5 or more, and that would be my reaction for charging $5,000 for this and not 700. Holy cow. Sorry, that price point shocked me.
To have people fly to San Diego to go through that entire process in 2 days.
Okay, this is in person. Okay, you're feeding them a couple of meals. Maybe you have some other people there, some kind of teaching assistants helping them with stuff. Maybe it's really hands-on. Okay, I'm a little bit less angry at this price point, but my God, still
That was,
$700.
cohort based, but it was smushed into 2.5 days. But the online version of this, the 6 to 8 week boot camp, we charged nearly $2,000 for. So now you
2000. No. Okay, Pat Flynn, like I was on board until this point. Now I see why you have way more money than I do. My God.
have these tiered pricing levels depending on the level of access that they have.
Okay, and I just want to point out, like, this guy and I have been in this industry for the exact same amount of time. I feel like I know probably as much about a lot of this stuff as he does. Charging $2,000 for an online course? No. No.
That they have to you, and you can get paid for extra time. The best way to get started is to find a group of people who might want to go through a certain process with you, and you can teach them that process. You don't even need the digital course ready yet. In fact, this can help create what the digital course will become. And by working with people a couple times a week and hearing their feedback and asking questions like, what do you think is missing or what are you having trouble with? Those are all things that you can pull in and put into the digital course when you film that. And then you have two options. You can join me in the digital course or you can join me live in the cohort-based course. You see how that works? The biggest mistake with a cohort-based course is not encouraging people to communicate with each other. Yes, there is accessibility to you and your team for sort of hosting this thing, but there's huge benefit in getting the students to talk to each other. So if you use something like Zoom to manage these cohorts, make sure to spend a lot of time with little groups, right? Breakout groups, so that people can offer feedback to each other. Some of the best advice and feedback that we've gotten was to do exactly that. And we've been doing a lot of that in our recent boot camps. We actually just wrapped one up related to teaching online courses. And it was an amazing experience. It was super fun. Number 8, this is my all-time favorite way to generate an income online because it's easy and it doesn't require any work more than just some upfront work. And you can really help a lot of people. And that is affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is recommending other people or other companies' products that already exist, products that people are already paying for. And if you can be the person to be the conduit, the person who recommends it, who shares your opinion about something, and people are like, cool, I'll take that opinion and I'll buy that product, that company will pay you as a result. I've talked about this extensively here on the channel. Affiliate marketing is, again, one of the simplest things to do. It's hard to master, though, because there's a lot of nuance to it, right? You don't want to just go, hey, everybody, go buy this product. I promise you it's going to be great.
So I find it hard to recommend affiliate marketing as a way to make money, whether it's real money or some kind of regular money, because it's so specific. You either have to have like a pretty good sized audience or having a very specific audience. I have not made more than $3,000 affiliate marketing in the last 15 years of my business. And most of the money I've made affiliate marketing, honestly, was we have these stand to sit desks at our co-working space, and people always ask where we get them. And I struck up an affiliate deal with the company where we got $50 and the person who used the coupon code got $50 off. So I think we made about $2,000 selling those desks. We were basically like their showroom, essentially. People would see the desk, be like, oh, wow, this is really like high quality. This is really good. Where did you get it? So other than that, I haven't really made any real money affiliate marketing. And again, can't really live off of even $2,000 in a month really very easily, let alone 14 years. So I don't know. Either I'm stupid about affiliate marketing or it's actually a lot harder than some of these people make it out to be.
But showing people the experience that you have with a product is really the thing that you want to do. I made the mistake of working with other products because they had a great commission, not because necessarily the product was actually going to be the most helpful. You want to start with the pains and struggles that your target audience has and what are their goals. Find products that can help support that. And if you have experience with those products too, even better. Talk about that, showcase it, demonstrate it. And when people see what it's done for you, they're going to be likely to want to go through the same process and pick up that thing through your affiliate link so you can get paid. So start there. Again,
short format video is really going to change how affiliate marketing works. I mean, it already has changed it, but I think it's going to be a lot more applicable to a lot more people. It's something about like seeing the product and seeing it in action and like someone else physically manipulating it is so much more informative than reading a bunch of reviews and seeing like 3 perfectly shot product photography pictures on the website. You know what I mean? So I do think that there is money to be made, but I think if you're gonna make a lot of money at it, it either has to be a situation like I was in with my desks, or I think this could work a little bit better if you have a good audience, if you're good at online storytelling in that short format video format. I think affiliate marketing could make you some money, but I don't think it's gonna make you a lot of money, I'll be honest with you.
again, figure out what that number one problem is and find a solution for that. And again, it doesn't have to be a solution that you create. Somebody else could have created it already.
Also, notice he's not showing any numbers about his affiliate marketing in this video. I know that he does another video where he talks about how he made over $1 million affiliating 5 products, but I'm guessing he's affiliated a lot more products that haven't worked out so well. So I have a feeling that we're going to move on to number 9 without seeing any numbers from his affiliates.
Already. And you can be an affiliate for almost anything, for physical products, digital products, coaching programs, software, even events. I'm an affiliate for this microphone. I'm an affiliate for other microphones. I talk about this camera that I'm using right now and I have videos on that demonstrate how I use them and the benefit of them. And then I link to them and then I get paid. Amazon pays me. These companies pay me. You can make a lot of money by just doing that upfront work and then letting the platforms do the work for you. Number 9, podcast ad revenue. So I have a podcast at Smart Passive Income. I also have a secondary podcast, Ask Pat, and actually a few others. And on most,
I just figured out that SPI stands for Smart Passive Income. A little bit slow today.
most of those shows, we include advertisements. We could charge anywhere between $25 and $50 CPM, or cost per milli, or cost per 1,000 downloads. So let's do some quick math here. Even on the lower end, $20 CPM. If you get 10,000 downloads per episode, that's 10,000. So let's multiply 10. That's $200 per episode at a $20 CPM for 10,000 downloads.
So 7 years ago, I had a podcast for 2 years. And that podcast was called My Desert Island. And it covered the Bar Harbor, Maine area and goings on in the community. A lot of the content we created was perennial, like we interviewed a lobster fisherman. We did a whole episode about coffee brandy. And it was just like all like sort of down east Maine kind of stuff. And even though the town we lived in had 5,000 people in it, Bar Harbor has millions of visitors every single year. So people who care about that content. The average episode when we uploaded it within the first 20 hours would get 200 to 250 downloads. And then it would kind of drop off, but it would continue getting downloads, right? Because somebody would find the podcast, be like, oh my God, this is great. And then they would go back to the beginning and download, even episode 1. We ended up producing just shy of 100 episodes of the podcast. And not a single one of them got 10,000 downloads. Now, I do think the market now is different. I think people increasingly understand about podcasts. I think formats like TikTok and Instagram Reels, people can upload clips of a podcast and people can see what it's like, and then that makes them want to download it. So I think we have all these kind of marketing vehicles as well as public understanding of what podcasts are more than we did 7 years ago. But he's acting like you getting 10,000 downloads is something that's going to happen right away or even over a period of time. And I can tell you, as somebody who put a lot of thought and effort and production into a podcast for 2 years that didn't make a dime off of it, it's a lot harder to get downloads than he's acting here. Just want to say that.
Downloads. Now, let's say you have 4 episodes come out every single month, 1 per week. Well, multiply 200 times 4. That's $800 a month. See how this adds up? Depending on where you put ads.
Yeah, with these theoretical numbers, do you see how this adds up? But like, are you going to get those kind of downloads Is a normal person that doesn't have 422,000 YouTube subscribers going to get those kind of downloads? You know?
Into your podcast, you might generate even more. Maybe it's a mid-roll or a pre-roll in the beginning of the show, and you want to charge more for that. Maybe you combine your ads on your podcast with ads in your email newsletter. You can charge more for that. Now, if you don't have a podcast, obviously you'll want to get started with a podcast. I have a tutorial that you can use down below that you could check out so that you can get started. But if you have a podcast already, the first thing you want to do is find a company that you're already working with or a company that you already use. Maybe you've heard them advertise on another show before, or maybe not. But I would recommend reaching out, even if you don't have a large.
By the way, I tried to sell ads on this podcast. I approached local businesses and I said, listen, we're getting 250 downloads the first 24 hours. And then every single week, these episodes are getting downloads, even if they're like over a year old. I want to charge you $250 to reach a very local audience and people who are interested in this area. I could not sell this thing to save my life. So what a lot of people end up doing, for good reason, is reaching out to podcast ad networks. But to get on the good ad networks that pay well, you need to have a certain amount of downloads first. So monetizing a podcast is a lot harder than he's making it out to be. Just as someone who's actively tried to do it and who sells things for a living, I might add, for other people.
A large amount of numbers. The biggest mistake that I made was thinking that my numbers weren't big enough before because the people who I heard advertise were huge and these big brands. The truth is, a lot of advertisers now are very excited to promote, especially on smaller podcasts that have loyal audiences. The conversion rates are off the charts because the trust that you've earned with that audience means so much. And that's very valuable. And you should be charging for that. The other mistake was just, again, related to that, waiting too long. I started my podcast in 2010 and I started putting ads in 2014. I missed out on a lot of opportunity because there were a lot of companies that could have served my audience and it could have been a win-win-win situation. So a big mistake was just waiting, like is the mistake for most of these things that I'm listing right now. And number 10, being an advisor.
Okay, so I just want to point out here, for affiliates and for podcast ad revenue, we haven't seen any numbers, okay? We've seen no numbers from him. And I have a feeling that he probably gets pretty good podcast deals now because he probably has a pretty big podcast, but he's talking to people who are just starting out and who probably would never reach his level. So that's why he's not showing us his numbers. He knows they're not realistic.
Advisor for other companies. What does that mean? Well, that means actually I'm not just an affiliate for some of these products that I promote, but I'm actually an advisor, like a formal advisor. I own shares of these companies as a result of the partnerships and the relationships that we've created over time. Many of those started as affiliate relationships. And then with the advice that I was offering and the relationships that was being built between the two companies, mine and theirs, we decided to get a little bit more formal in the help that I could offer them. And the help that I offer them is not just promoting their brand, but it's actually offering real advice to help them grow their company. I'm an advisor for Samcard. I'm an advisor for ConvertKit and Circle.so, as well as Squadcast. I was also an advisor for Teachable, and then it got acquired. And guess what? When it got acquired, I got a really sizable check as a result. Now, how much?
Okay, so on his website right now, he is an advisor for ConvertKit, Teachable, and Squadcast. Those are the three. The other ones aren't mentioned on his website, so maybe that's kind of changed over the last few months. But what I want to ask you is, do you think the average person can be an advisor for a tech company and have them pay shares? You know, the tech company pays you shares to advise them. Do you think that's something that the average person can do? I don't know. It seems kind of specific, but
Now, how might you get started with actual advisory work? Well, reach out to companies that you have a relationship with already and see if they're even open to that possibility, or ask what would it take for them to be open to having you come on as a formal advisor. What's the responsibility on my end? Well, it's not just to continue to support the company, but it's to offer advice when needed. It's to show up maybe once or twice a month to a meeting. And more than that, it's to build relationships and make connections that can be beneficial for the company too. It's a really interesting way to have some influence on a company without actually having to like do the day-to-day work in that company. It's really, really cool. And you can unlock that yourself too. The biggest mistake, honestly, is just underselling yourself. You know, I used to undersell myself all the time, not thinking that I was qualified or had the skill sets that would actually be beneficial for another company. And it wasn't until another company gave me a
if he's qualified, I'm qualified. Just saying.
chance and started telling me and revealing how much actually I could contribute, that I then seeked out other companies to be an advisor for as well. So don't undersell yourself. You have so much to offer. And actually, here's a bonus one. Number 11, investments. Taking a lot of this passive income and these earnings that have been coming in and putting them into smart assets that I can, not just have fun and play around with, but that actually get that money to work for itself and grow even more. That means investing in the stock market. That means investing into real estate. That means investing perhaps into other companies as well. And I've started doing a little bit of angel investing on the side, which has been really, really fun and neat. Actually, I'm curious, of the 11 things that I mentioned here, which one seems to pique your interest the most? Tell me in the comment section, and I'll perhaps create some videos in the future about those specific numbers if there's interest there. Thank you so much and appreciate you.
So he does say in the show notes that resources mentioned in the video, some of the links are affiliate links. He doesn't say which ones are, but usually the ones with a custom URL, he'll get points for that. And to close out this video, we're going to look at two things. We're going to look at his courses, and we're going to look at his online community membership. We're going to see what he's offering, at what price point, and if he's making certain promises with these offers. Yes, I have a lot of tabs open. That is how my brain works. So let's take a look at these featured courses. Looks like they're all $499, and there is 2 free ones, which I'm guessing gets you into his email marketing system. Let's see, view all products. So it looks like he has a few free courses, and then it looks like he has a few $49 courses, a few $149 courses, and some $499 courses. And I don't know, for a self-paced course, $500 seems pretty expensive to me. If there was some kind of interactions, or if there was some kind of feedback that I got from him about some assignments I turned in or something, I would understand the higher price point. $499 seems pretty expensive for a self-paced course. I mean, if I was going to take a college class, that's probably around maybe what I would pay, and I would have like a professor, and I'd be turning in assignments and getting feedback and stuff like that. I clicked on the podcasting course. I'm going to click on what's included to see what that is. And I think it's interesting that I have kind of two options in terms of paying for the course. One is I can just buy the course for $499, but I can upgrade to an all access pass for $599 for the year. And I could get access to the entire SPI course catalog, from what I understand. So I could go through all the courses. And obviously the checklist for the all access pass is way longer than the one for just the individual course, because that's what he wants us to buy. In terms of what is actually included content-wise in the podcasting course, we have develop a content and launch calendar, schedule interviews and batch process production, train your team, use an editing service, what to do when you can't yet hire a team. M is for market. Figure out why your show isn't growing and how to change that. Choose the right content to optimize marketing efforts. Get people to share, talk, and come back for more. Get guest spots on other podcasts. Develop a repurposing plan that works. Optimize your website for your podcast. Gain the attention of main media for your podcast. I guess he means mainstream media. Shoot for top rankings and plan for the future. And profit is the importance of mindset. Ugh, that's always a red flag for me. Methods of making money with a podcast, determining your first focus offer, incorporating affiliate marketing, building your podcasting funnel, creating an evergreen promotion plan, how to start an advertising program, and using Patreon for direct listener support. I don't know. It seems kind of expensive for me shooting for top ranks and learning about mindset, and that Patreon exists, but I don't know. I'm just saying, I feel like the course I did with Zach Miller, and by course I did, I mean, I like facilitated it, but he did all the content, I think was a lot more tactical and useful about how you would, quote unquote, shoot for top rankings, or how you would figure out how you're doing in relation to other podcasts and that kind of thing. Let's take a look at his online community. All right, so here's an online community, and as a reminder, we have to apply to be in it, and he approves people quarterly. So I want to learn more though. Okay, I'm lonely because I'm an entrepreneur by myself. It looks like this is sort of like a Slack channel. Like there's different little tabs people can go to, and people can join them and see new posts about stuff, can chat with each other. I scrolled through a bunch of testimonials. I scrolled through all the features of the community and how valuable it is and all that. Now I get to the important FAQs. Is there a cost to join SPI Pro? Yes, our new member pricing is $299 a quarter, or $990 a year. 16% off, equal to 2 months free. Members can cancel their subscriptions at any time. Am I obligated to join if I apply and receive an invite? Nope. Your invite will be valid for a period of time once you receive it. If you don't wish to join, just ignore it. Still, please only apply if you're very serious about it. Our team spends time reviewing each application. Let me just see what this application entails. All right, I'm going to act like I want to apply because I'm really curious how detailed this application. Oh, no, it's a type form. Takes 7+ minutes to fill out. Now, if you're not familiar with type form, what it does is it asks you one question at a time, and you're in this hell of not knowing how long the form is because you can't see the whole thing. You just are going one at a time until it's over. And I guess it makes people fill out the form, but I don't know. It's like, ugh. So I'm having a hard time wrapping up this video, I'll be honest with you, because 3/4 through this recording, I was like, yep, Pat Flynn and I were very similar. We seem to know a similar amount about these topics. We seem to recommend similar resources. We have all both have YouTube like tutorials on our channels about how to do things and seem tactical. I was on board. And then I watched that 4th video and I was like, okay, now I get why he has a lot more money than I do. His online self-paced courses are $500. Mine are like $25. His in-person classes are $2,000. I did one once for $100. It was a 3-hour class and included lunch. He has an online community for $1,000 a year. I have an online community that would cost you about $200 a year to join. That is very similar to his. I guess what I'm saying is, if you like Pat Flynn, that's fine. I don't think you have to spend these high amounts of money to learn how to make a webinar or to learn how to do a podcast. Pat, if you're watching this, I just think you charge a lot of money for what you do. And I'm sure you would argue with me that I need to know my worth and charge what I'm worth. But the reality is, I'm working with a lot of small business owners. And in a lot of cases, I'm their biggest marketing expense, even though they're not even paying me $1,000 a month in some cases. And I'm doing very hands-on work for them. I also think he actually knows about marketing. I just think his price point is a little bit expensive for what he has to offer in terms of general advice. And it sounds like if you were going to get coached by him or have some kind of one-on-one relationship, you would pay an awful lot of money for that. I would suggest you talk to your local, well-reviewed online marketing company, or if you want to talk to us, if you have a budget and some goals, we can work with you on a specific plan to get to those versus you deciding, say, that you need to make a podcast for your business and that might not be the right thing to do. You know, at the beginning of this video, I talked about how there's kind of two groups of people sort of marketing themselves online. One is people who create content, are influencers, and whose primary source of revenue is the content that they create online. And then there's businesses like hardware stores or cleaning companies or local co-working spaces who have a business and use the internet to market but don't expect to make any money off that content. I think a lot of Pat Flynn's advice is geared at people who want to be content creators. I think the way it sounds like is that everybody can who wants to start a podcast can start a podcast and start monetizing it. And the reality is that a lot of us who have creative hobbies don't necessarily monetize them or can't monetize them to fully support us. So in the case of my YouTube channel, for example, I've been making videos for 12 years. I've been monetized for 6 weeks. I have made $7. I need more than $7 over 6 weeks to live. So I need to have another job. I want to close this broadcast with a quote from Big Magic, which is a book by Elizabeth Gilbert. Now, you can feel however you want about Eat, Pray, Love or Elizabeth Gilbert in general, but Big Magic is a really good book about living a creative life. And she has a whole section talking about basically how we cannot expect our creativity to fund our lifestyle. So I'm going to read that quote now. Please understand, I have nothing against people wanting to make money out of their art. I've always wanted to make money out of my art. I have always strived to make money out of my art. And now I make money out of my art. And I am grateful as hell. But for the first 10 years of my creative journey, I did not make a single dime off of writing. And for the next 10 years of my creative journey, which included publication of 3 books, I always kept alternative day jobs, always made sure I had other streams of income to rely on. I did not quit all of my other jobs until Eat, Pray, Love became a crazy bestseller, you guys. And Eat, Pray, Love was a freak of nature. The reason I always maintained other streams of income was because I never wanted to burden my creativity with the task of providing for me in the material world. I do not believe creativity comes to us from the material world, and therefore she has no concept of what it takes to survive in the material world. Creativity is a timeless little playful, disembodied, weird, otherworldly goddess. She doesn't need to eat. She doesn't need a roof to sleep under. She doesn't need to go to the dentist. We do. She doesn't. Creativity just wants to engage with us, or not sometimes, at her own crazy and unpredictable ways, but she never promised to provide for us. I adore creativity. I love her. I've devoted my life to her because she brings me joy. But I do not suggest relying upon her to pay the oil bill. She's not very reliable. Creativity has no idea what the words oil bill even mean. Creativity doesn't give a damn about your auto insurance. She just wants to dance with you and then sometimes dance away on her own schedule, on her own strange rhythms. This is why I made a promise to my writing life. When I was 15 years old, I said to writing, I will never ask you to provide for me financially. I will always provide for you. I was willing to work hard, in other words, so that creativity could play lightly. I have seen so many beautiful souls murder their creative process because of this relentless insistence that they are not real artists unless the art pays the bills. When it doesn't work out, and it often doesn't, because once more, creativity is flaky and weird, airhead goddess, these people become angry, bitter, sick, bankrupted, and worst of all, they often quit creating at all. Let me tell you what it takes to be a real artist. Are you making art? Then you're a real artist. Creativity owes us nothing in exchange for our devotion to her, except for the gorgeous experience of getting to work with her at all. To yell at your creativity saying, you must earn money for me, is sort of like yelling at a cat. It has no idea what you're talking about, and all you're doing is scaring it away because you're making really loud noises and your face looks weird when you do that. Basically, if you're going to have a podcast, if you want to do a course or whatever, I think that's fine. I think acting like it's going to fund your whole life is not very realistic. I say this as somebody who spent 15 years building an online audience and knows a fair bit about this stuff. What I wish someone like Pat Flynn would say, because it would be a lot more powerful coming from him than it is coming from me, is that the difference between a small creator who might know a lot and do good work and someone who has 500,000 YouTube subscribers, someone who can charge $500 for a class, someone who can have passive income that a whole other team manages so that it is actually passive for them. That's not something that most people can ever reach realistically. And if you have reached that, if you could just acknowledge that some of it was luck and timing, because otherwise, if it isn't, you would be able to pick up someone off the street, have them do the exact things that you say, and they should have the level of success that you have. But you can't guarantee that, right? Because there's a lot of other factors with success besides knowing what you're talking about. So anyway, that's all I've got. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, I hope you consider liking, subscribing, sticking around. Again, there's a whole YouTube playlist called Nicole Reacts to Online Marketing Gurus. The same videos are also on our website if you'd rather see them there. If you want to lightly keep in touch, a good way to do that is our monthly email newsletter. If you go to breakingeveninc.com/newsletter, you can see past issues and see if you want to subscribe or not. And there's a form right on that page. If you have gurus you want me to react to, specific videos, topics, you can leave them as a comment on this video. Or if you're more shy, you can use the contact form of my website to let me know. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for watching. And remember, these online gurus keep coming, but the good news is you have a friend, and that's me in the marketing business. That's going to tell you what's really going on and hopefully point you into some good directions for doing what you need to do in your own marketing journey. Have a great rest of your day and see you next time. Take care.